Jorge Martin on pole position for the third time in the last 5 Grand Prix. A record-breaking, history-making lap time in Q2 this morning. He's on the front row of the grid with Brad Binder and world champion and world championship leader Pecco Bagnaia. 27 laps of this fearsome Phillip Island circuit coming your way. Who is going to come out on top down under? Who will be the Wizard of Oz in this Phillip Island Grand Prix? Round 16 of 20 in this year's MotoGP World Championship battle. Jorge Martin, he has gone for the soft Michelin rear tyre. It's clear what his plan is. He is going to try and make the electric start, the lightning start that he did in Indonesia last weekend, and then hope he can build the similar sort of advantage and make sure he sees it to the checkered flag. In the Australian Grand Prix here last year, won by Alex Rins, we had an instant classic. The third closest podium in Premier Class history. 5.9 seconds covered the top 10. It was the second closest top 10 in Premier Class history. More of the same, please, from the very best riders in the world. There was your championship picture. 18 points the gap between Bagnaia and Martin. It's a cool 18 degrees here as we get set for race action here in Australia. And without question, one of the best venues on the World Championship calendar. As we mentioned, this Australian Grand Prix has been brought forward 24 hours with some inclement weather forecast tomorrow. It's going to be anything but a breeze, this Australian Grand Prix for Jorge Martin and Pecco Bagnaia, with the championship lead on the line. So much at stake for two of the men who start on the front row of the grid. But Lewis, Phillip Island never disappoints. It always tends to deliver. We always say expect the unexpected in MotoGP, but this should be an absolute belter.
It usually is around Phillip Island. Add to that the tension and the World Championship up for grabs, and we've got the perfect combination for a thrilling Grand Prix this afternoon. And of course, the tyre strategy will be fascinating to see if Martin can make that early break. He's not the only one on that soft rear tyre, because Marc Marquez has made a late switch to that soft rear tyre.
Yeah, Marquez had nothing to lose from 7th place on the grid. He was second in that epic battle here 1 year ago, so close to that victory. 727 days since Marc Marquez last stood on the top step of a MotoGP podium. He's been on the top step here in Australia 3 times before in his Grand Prix career. He was the last winner from pole in 2017. We've not had a Ducati Grand Prix winner in Australia since Casey Stoner back in 2010. Are we about to see that run extended here today, or will Jorge Martin end it? It's full throttle, lights out, and we are racing here in Phillip Island. And Martin does make the dream start from pole position. They shoot down towards the Doohan corner. On the inside, though, was Brad Binder. He can't quite get through, though. Bagnaia stays in 3rd place. Marquez running wide through the Doohan corner, but Martin executes the perfect start. He leads for the first time through the Southern Loop.
Absolutely corking start from Jack Miller, straight through into 4th place. He launched that KTM through the second row starters immediately and up into 4th. Contact into Doohan corner between Aleix Espargaro and Joan Zarco, who both lost out to Gian Antonio.
Bit of rubbing there as well between Pol Espargaro and Marc Marquez. They rub shoulders coming through the high-speed 4th gear Stoner corner. Aleix Espargaro gets picked up again by Marc Marquez, getting duffed up here, isn't he? The brilliant man who started in 4th place on the grid. He's now in a sandwich between Zarco and Pol Espargaro, but Martin accelerates and powers out of Siberia for the first time. He's already over half a second clear of Binder in 2nd place.
Well, it's a Saturday afternoon and Jorge Martin is treating this like a sprint in the early stages. He's getting on with it quickly. Bagnaia isn't. He's losing a bit of ground early on to Brad Binder, and he's got Jack Miller now all over him. The 2 former teammates going head-to-head.
Look at this guy, Digi there, in 5th place, McLean Ducati. This has been a superb first lap by Miller. He now rubs elbow to elbow with his former Ducati teammate Pecco Bagnaia. Jack Miller then the man on the move. It has been Twitter Miller on this first lap of his home Grand Prix. Started 8, he's inside the podium places of the complete lap 1.
Yeah, Bagnaia really up against it, struggling on this opening lap to try and keep touch with the leaders, as Gian Antonio now has a go at the reigning world champion. Marc Marquez up to 6th, clearly thinking, give me that soft rear tyre and get me in the group. He's starting in the group as he picks up Gian Antonio, but Bagnaia back through on Miller.
Gian Antonio tries to tuck it out around the outside of the Doohan corner. That's really, really tough. He has done it though. Brilliant stuff this by Digi, fighting for his MotoGP future. Marquez tries the inside line, tight run through the Southern Loop. There is no way through. At the end of that first lap, Jorge Martin already nearly half a second clear for Roman Max from the pole man.
Binder's been able to pick that though in the first sector. Did you on the inside then? On Jack Miller, who picks him aside. Rob Ball with Mark Marquez, who picks the opportunity up and moves back to Miller, who now drops 2 places.
Yeah, Miller then lost positions to Bagnaia. Gigi and Marquez already. It was a superb end to the first lap for Miller. It hasn't been a great start to the second lap. 5 places recovered in the first lap for Miller, but he surrendered 3 of them straight back. He's back in 6th place.
Gian Antonio was someone that Matt Vinales pointed to yesterday. He said on the medium rear tyre, Gian Antonio is very, very fast. He's now standing in podium positions here, having got through on Marquez and on Miller. Gian Antonio crawling all over the back of Pecco Bagnaia, who's already the best part of a second and a half behind the leading pair.
He won't need telling this, will he, to Gian Antonio? If he's going to make a move on Bagnaia, he better make sure that it's perfect and crystal clean, because he can't do anything to jeopardise Bagnaia's 18-point World Championship lead, which is shrinking at the moment. Gian Antonio gets a bit of a head shake as they power down the 6th gear, 350 kilometres an hour, Gardner Straight, not close to attacking into the dual corner. They go side by side, that's so close. Bagnaia just stands firm, but Martin and Binder here are checking out as Digit does go for it on the inside of Bagnaia into the southern loop. Gian Antonio on course for his first MotoGP podium. This is a sensational performance from the man who hasn't got a ride next year.
Gian Antonio can see the leading pair getting away and feels I can go with these guys. I just need to get past Bagnaia and try and pull away. So the world champion struggling in these early stages. He does not have the pace of the leading pair. We know that. He now doesn't have the pace of Gian Antonio, who's gone through. It's now Miller and Marquez now swap pace as they go side by side. They're now battling for 6th place. Zarco's past the pair of them.
Miller coming through, added the corner named after him, turn 4. That was beautiful by Jack Miller. Through on the 8 times world champion Marc Marquez. We're looking back now as they power through this magnificent 3rd sector. It's all 4th gear, high speed, rapid change of direction as they now climb towards Lukey Heights. 3rd gear left-hander, you'll come over the blind crest, back 2 gears to first end. Could overtake the hotspot this, downhill to turn 10. Marquez already had a couple of crashes here this weekend. He's safely through this time around. If you look from the Repsol man, looking towards Jack Miller, John Zarco just ahead of Miller. Martin there now is already trying to pull the pin here. He was through the 3rd sector, over 9/10 of a second clear.
Slower than Jorge Martin out front as Martin now completes lap number 4. He's back in the 29s now, 29.0 for Martin, a 29.2 for Binder, so he's just about keeping Martin in check. Bagnaia holds off Zarco and Marquez into the first corner. But that 18-point World Championship lead is starting to shrink rapidly, isn't it? As Marquez picks up Zarco into the southern loop. That's a ring-zest move from last year as Marquez takes 5th.
And look at this is just stunning by Marquez, isn't it? Love him all over. You have to just admire the commitment, the skill, the bravery. He is the only non-Ducati, apart from Brad Binder, that's got anything for this podium battle. Jack Miller in there as well, but Marquez fighting a good fight, isn't he, for the under pressure, we believe the Japanese factories got through there on Zarco. Now he can set about hunting down Bagnaia. Through Siberia we go then, on lap 5. On that previous lap, Bagnaia was the slowest of the top 6. He just has not got the early pace, has he, at all. 1.2 seconds with the lead that Martin had over Binder.
Could be a damage lap for him for Marco Ben Secchi's World Championship hopes. He's down on 10th at the moment, stuck in the battle with Paul Espargaro and Alex Marquez. Marco Ben Secchi's going to lose big points at this stage of the race. As far as the other Japanese motorcycles are concerned, Sergio Marquez is up in this podium battle, or the battle for 4th. Drami is down in 15th. The 2 Yamahas are 19th and 20th, with only Takanaka going behind them.
A bit of shock over for Vinales, a man who looked like he was going to be a real serious threat, much to the podium here this weekend. But for the victory, Zarco blitzes by. Marquez is Repsol, he's going to have the inside line to do a corner. Martin is just in a completely different level. This is Mangaluka all over again, and hoping a very different outcome. Lap 5 concludes, he's already in 2 seconds clear, but he's still comfortably in those 128s of Miller and the latest Spargo topping out. They've already had a tangle through the southern loop at the end of Q2 this morning. Not a love lost between those two at the end of play in qualifying. That's why Miller felt like he was marooned down in 8th place. He's in 8th place right now, having gone up very alongside that top 3. Miller sticking for early rigor.
Zarco was struggling to meet the apex of Miller corner there as he went around turn 4, which nearly let Marc Marquez through. Zarco is now on the inside line. He's going to drift wide into Siberia. Marc Marquez is taking every opportunity available on the table at the moment, as Zarco now tries to get the inside now as they go with the nation side by side. It's a magic Zarco again.
The pressure building behind Marquez. Alex Spargo right on his rear tyre. Then Miller's in there as well. And Alex Marquez still riding in, discomfort with those 4 broken ribs that were in the Q1 in India. There's Marco Bezzecchi, and as Lewis mentioned, he's just seen his world title hopes, his faint world title hopes, you think, just started to slip and loosen from his grasp. Martin's already going to be in the pin 4th gear, turn 12, accelerating on now, up to 6th gear, down the Gardner straight. We'll check what Martin's advantage is on the Philippine Ducati. He's got 1.7 seconds. For the first time in this Grand Prix, Brad Binder with the slightly quicker man on that lap 6. And then Martin with nothing in it, a 1:29.4 from Binder, a 1:29.5 from your race leader, Jorge Martin.
Oh, here comes Alicia Spargo now passing Marquez, who's again going to try and slip back through on the inside as they go through the southern loop. So Marquez is just overtaking and every technical opportunity here, isn't he? It's not really working out for him as he tries to hold on to 6th place. You can see already that John Zarco has started to get the 93. And Marquez fighting the fight, but he's slipping back through the field. Brilliant signals.
This is a ride of the massive miss, the chasm that Marc Marquez will leave when he quits on at the end of this season and moves over to Gresini Ducati. The next best Honda is Joan Mir, who's down in 14th place, nearly 10 seconds off your race lead. This is just a message to Martin, just breathe, just relax. You've worked hard to get this lead, you've got the great start, you capitalise on that soft rear tyre. Now let's not make the same mistake as what we did 6 days ago in Mandalika. He's trying to put some serious pressure back on the shoulders of Bagnaia here. Still his advantage, 1.8 seconds now. It's crept up by a couple of tenths on this lap 7 as we pick up your runaway race leader, Martin, the record-breaking pole man from Q2 this morning. He's still keeping himself comfortably in those mid-129s, and for the first time in this Australian Grand Prix, as he powers through the corner on lap 8, he's 2 seconds clear of Binder.
The longer this race goes, you can imagine the better relative to Martin that Binder will get. The problem he's having at the moment is that Martin's going to be way too far up the road for Binder to do anything with it. They need to see tyre advantage at the end of this race. In fact, if anything, Binder started to drift a little bit back towards Di Gianantonio, who's sitting in 3rd place instead of the first MotoGP podium. This is 2nd place yet. At the end of the previous lap, the gap was 1.2 seconds, and Di Gianantonio was a tenth quicker than Binder up ahead of him.
Look at this group honing in on Bagnaia. Bagnaia in 4th place. He was well and truly already with 20 laps to go in Australia in damage limitation mode here. But he's got Zarco, Marquez, Aleix Espargaro, Miller, Bezzecchi and Alex Marquez right on his coattails. We go through turn 8, 4th gear, over 210 kilometres an hour. Fabio Gianantonio now.
Zarco near enough matched Martin's pace on the last lap, so he's getting towards it. And John Zarco is a massive favour by taking 4th place. That took another 2 points from Bagnaia, who's currently holding on to a 6-point World Championship lead going into tomorrow's TSO Sprint. You do see the damage that this race is doing to Marco Bezzecchi's time at the moment. 69 off the World Championship lead. He's put the flag out now. Martin's last lap was a 1:29.5. That is still quicker than Binder and Gianantonio behind him. Bagnaia on that coach for the personal best. It was quicker than the leaders. The fastest rider in the leading 6 is Marquez, who's also on that soft rear tyre, running 6th place. He's put a bit of distance down to himself and Aleix Espargaro, who's literally running wide and battling with his old foe from this morning, Jack Miller.
That 1:29.553 for Martin on lap 9. Aside from the standing start from lap 1, is probably the slowest lap of this Grand Prix so far, but he was still able to extend his lead to just over 2.5 seconds ahead of Binder, who at the moment is having a very lonely ride in 2nd spot. Binder 2.5 behind Martin, and he's got 1.1 seconds, and that is then back to the superbly, fantastically impressive Fabio Gianantonio on the Gresini Ducati, who's still in a very comfortable 3rd place. On that last lap though, just a little warning for the Italian. Bagnaia, that's successive best laps of the race so far for the world champion. He's 3/10 quicker than Binder on that previous lap. So Bagnaia, who is a master of time management, he may well be fancying a late charge here, or certainly to even the damage to get himself back in the podium. Will he have anything late on though for the likes of Binder and Martin, who are close to 5 seconds up the road?
Yeah, we were concerned that Bagnaia's lack of pace, or certainly looked like it in the early stages, but we'll find out in 17 laps time just how canny again Bagnaia is playing by just managing that medium rate time in those stages. That's what Bagnaia was doing. I don't
race pace, is snail's pace, isn't it, by Martin? So is he just, having built that 2.2-second gap, now just easing off slightly because tyre conservation, tyre preservation surely will be at the forefront of his mind. Gino Borsoi can barely watch on. It was heavy hands, wasn't it, for the Hercules character at Martin when he crashed at turn 11 halfway through that Mandalika race last weekend when he was 3 seconds clear. They're going to be hoping that their man has got this tactically spot on. He's decided to try and bolt. He's decided to use the extra bit of that rear tyre. Now then, thankfully, hearts and mouths. It's not Martin who's gone down this time. That's Dragomir. Dear me, this is his 12th Grand Prix of the season for Dragomir, the 26-year-old Spaniard, and that is DNF number 8. It's right out of our commentary box window here at the Miller corner. He was in the last point scoring place since the
close battle into Miller corner with Luca Marini, which saw Dragomir's race come to an end, or his competitive race. He has picked that Honda up and rejoined the race. So Jorge Martin then exits this final corner. Let's check his lap time this time around. He's going to get back down now to 29.5. It was Bender last time around whose pace dropped off to a 29.8. So any fears that Martin's pace was starting to tail off, he's at least responded on that last lap and extended that lead back out to 2.5 seconds. Yeah,
his last 3 laps, Martin, have been 29.5, 29.7, and then a 29.5. So he sort of stabilised, hasn't he, around those mid-29s. And of course, though, his pace, he's confident in himself that he can manage that soft rear tyre. But this pace as well, he'll be pushing perhaps the rides on the medium to run a pace that they're going to run into grip problems late on in this race. Now you can see Bagnaia is dragging Zarco with him as well. And they are really now starting to close in on Gianantonio. It might be under a second very, very quickly between Bagnaia, Zarco and Digia. Marc Marquez on that soft rear tyre looks like he's already maybe overcooked that soft rear as he got himself into early podium contention. He has been picked off now by the Aprilia of Aleix Espargaro as we sweep through this high-speed third sector. On board now with Jack Miller, who started and is currently circulating in P8.
Imagine those first few laps were a lot of fun for Marc Marquez, but there's a lot of pain now coming his way as a result of that, as Jack Miller is surely going to take that from the exact world champion. Brother and future teammate right behind him. The bike that he's going to be riding, or certainly the colour scheme he's going to be riding in next season, Marc Marquez. And at the back of this train we'll find Marco Bezzecchi, who was in the 130s last time around. So Bezzecchi not showing any signs of moving forwards.
Yeah, Martin showing no signs as yet of having any significant drop-off with that soft rear tyre. It's another 129.5 as Miller 5 on the inside of Aleix Espargaro's Aprilia in the Durham corner. Jack Miller here coming on strong. The Aussie fans will be loving this. And that's pushed Miller then back up inside the top 6. He's going to have to work hard though to hunt down Zarco, Bagnaia and Digia ahead of it. Martin at 129.5. Behind him, Binder 129.9. And Gianantonio is starting, it looks like, to struggle here. He was back in the 130s for the first time in his Grand Prix. The pace is slacking off here. Digia, Aleix Espargaro, Miller, Marquez and Alex Marquez all in the 130. Some of them, of course, fighting in groups. But the Gianantonio, they may well be some heartache coming here in the second half of this Grand Prix. Every time I see a yellow flag, it's so like Augusto Fernandez.
Every time you look to the top
yeah,
left of the screen.
You do. Yeah, I mean, that's what happened in Mandalika last weekend, but it's just always not again. Sure, it can't be the way Martinez thinks it. Unfortunately, it's Augusto Fernandez.
Just says personal best lap of the race, Fernandez moving up into the points in 15th place. It's been a good weekend, hopefully the penalty and trying to beat down the break. It's not turned out to translate to 20 points for Augusto Fernandez, who is now out of this race. This is the battle then for the final podium position and the dream scenario as Digia is told once again to relax. He's now being told that it's in a group behind him. He's actually closing in on Brad Binder, who's just got a 130.3 last time around. Gianantonio is still the 29s, but Bagnaia now 7/10 quicker than Binder, 3/10 quicker than Martin. Bagnaia might still finish second in this race, yes.
Yeah, that 13th lap was by far Martin's slowest. Before that, his slowest was a 129.7. He'd done a 2 or 3 129.5s in the build to that lap 13, 129.9. But he's still coming on to those high 129s. We've not seen a 130 lap yet from Martin, who is 3.5 seconds clear near enough now on Binder behind him. Bezzecchi is doing a great job, not the result he wanted down in 10th place at the moment. He's going to be in agony right now. 2 weeks out of fracturing that right collarbone in the high-speed change of he was really suffering yesterday. Pain, discomfort in that shoulder. Imagine how the painkillers are starting to wear off as well, and as this race wears on, that lack of ability, that lack of strength, well, he's going to be right now with adrenaline, pure adrenaline, to get him potentially into what could be, especially for a 7th spot.
He's starting to struggle again in this race because he's now starting to lose serious touch with Antonio. That advantage that Digia lost is now going back up towards 1 second again, and now this Marco's all the way back up Bagnaia and back to 4th place. So Antonio at one point looks as if his podium dream is starting to slip through his fingers. He's now suddenly staring at 2nd place once again as he closes in on the back of Brad Binder. The lead between Martin and Binder is now up to 3.5 seconds as the pace continues to drop off. Martin in the 130 is now with a 130.2. Brad Binder is a 30.2, a 30 flat for Digia.
Look at this, Zarco thought about it. He picked up some slipstream there behind Bagnaia's factory Ducati as they went through the gears into top gear down the Ghana Straight, approaching 350 kilometers an hour. Zarco, though, could not find the clean pass. Just ahead of him there, though. Look at this from Antonio. He joked on Thursday about his prospects of a ride in MotoGP next season. He got himself a job pulling pints at nearby Phillip Island bar, where he might be popping open some Prosecco at the end of this 27-lap race, because he has now got right on Binder's rear tyre on the factory KTM. Now we've got every rider for the first time this Grand Prix that can't sustain the speed in the 129s. Even Martin has dipped into the 130s, but he shouldn't have any bother. 3.4 seconds clear of Binder, who's now got it all on to keep himself in this 2nd place. 11.5 laps to defend against a hard charge of Antonio. That will not be easy.
That will feel like a long time for Brad Binder, whose pace at this stage is not exactly slow relative to the rest of the field, but Antonio just decided enough here just to get this move done and just try and manage that towards the end of the race. Bagnaia now is around a second adrift of Antonio ahead of him, so Bagnaia, rather than staying at the podium, now looks like he's defending 4th place, but Antonio is now going to be locked into the slipstream of the factory KTM ahead of him and potentially staring at 2nd place if he can get this move done.
The factory Ducati are playing that Zarco can't find a way through on Bagnaia. The Prima Ducati are praying that Zarco can get through, because it would be superb in terms of the championship chase for Roy Martin, who was stabilised around a 130.287. Slightly quicker on that lap 16 were Binder, Antonio behind him. Likewise Bagnaia. So the 3 men directly behind Martin on the road right now. Binder, Digia and Bagnaia a little bit quicker than Roy Martin, but at the moment not a problem for Martin, no major headache. He's managing that soft rear tyre quite brilliantly at the moment. He's going to have to drop off a cliff, isn't it, for him to lose that 3.4 second gap. But as you mentioned, pre-race, anything can happen, unexpected in MotoGP. Back in the span of the 2nd place. Binder resisting this incessant pressure from Antonio as they come through turn 8.
We know that KTM is very good driving into corners, so Antonio will have to get creative with all the following Binder now, working out where the best possible opportunity is to attack as he closes it on through Lukey Heights and down into MG. But that KTM punches out in the final corner. It's such a good slingshot down that start bit of straight that Antonio, even in the slipstream, is not able to get close enough. By the time they arrive at Dual corner, you can see now how close Antonio is. Will that KTM again be able to punch up that final corner and put it out of striking distance, because Antonio is right there in third.
You can see how low that KTM RC16 squatted on the inside the engage of the line at the right. Here comes Digia. He's not been close enough to run that inside line. Probably just trying to escape some of the turbulent dirty air, which could be a problem on that high-speed run down to the Duan corner. So we have two rider battles here, which has such significance on this World Championship. The battle of 2nd with Binder and Antonio. Looks like they have streaked away here from Bagnaia and Zarco. And now Zarco really trying to make it a big payday for his Prima Ducati teammate Jorge Martin, who is still 3.3 seconds clear. Antonio tries a move, shows Binder his front tyre through the Miller corner. There is still no way. So it's one thing to get on Papin's rear tyre, totally different proposition to try and get through on the South African, who is so good on the brakes.
You can imagine Antonio as well, knowing that this is potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to finish on the MotoGP podium. He will not want to throw this away by sending a bit of an ambitious overtake at the inside of Brad Binder on 3rd place.
the first gear, turn 10. He just had the rear tyre stuck out from underneath him. He's immediately back on the bubble there now. Antonio has got great corner speed on that GP22 Ducati. Now we feel you can see a bit of wear on the left-hand side of Binder's Michelin rear tyre. Antonio pulls out the slipstream. They are side by side, and Digia powers on through.
Which was slightly slower than Digia behind him, and not slower enough to worry Prima Racing. They'll be nervously looking at the lap times of Marc Marquez and Paul Espargaro, who are the other two riders out there on the soft rear tyre. Marquez did a 30.9 last time around. Paul Espargaro did a 31 Paul there, and he's in the 32s the lap before that. So Paul Espargaro started to hit rear tyre problems, and Martinez can't be too far away.
Humbling day for the Yamahas. Fingers and ears if you're an Iwata factory fan. Fabio Quartararo not even inside the points. The former world champion is down in 16th place. He's nearly 19 seconds behind your race leader, Jorge Martin. He's got worse for his teammate Frankie Walker. He's having a sorry weekend here in Australia. Walker 18th. He's 25 seconds away from Martin. He's 5.4 seconds away from Paul Espargaro in 17th spot. We drop down then into one of the slowest corners on the circuit, turn 10, one of two first gear corners around this Phillip Island circuit. There are your four riders briefly in one picture through turn 11 that are fighting for this second place. It looks like it's game over in terms of the race win. This man is running away with it. Well, we said that in Mandalika, didn't we, 6 days ago? It's not a foregone conclusion, but this is Jorge Martin's pace with his best time of the race, 1:28.8.
Antonio just took 4 tenths out of his lead on that last lap. Is the impossible starting to become possible as Jorge Martin manages it? The lead cut from 3.2 to 2.8.
Compared to his best race, his best time of the race, Lewis. Okay, yeah, it was on lap 3 when he had the fresh grip, the optimum grip from that soft rear tyre. He's now losing 2 seconds a lap compared to his early race speed. Of course, he's now got 20 laps on those used and abused Michelin tyres. What a drop that is. Look at that. That's what we call a left angle as he pulls for the Ducati to stop on the brakes into turn 4. This one is certainly not done and dusted, is it? It's battle for second place at the moment in the hands of that match group. Fabio Antonio then sweeps through turn 8. There is your race leader, Martin. And the gap is just creeping down. It's come down a couple of tenths as well through the first half of this lap 21. Binder now, can he make a move down in the brakes in the hill? Through the glass, they go down into turn 2. He's not close enough. Simon, down to you quickly.
Yes, this is the stage where I would expect the tyre to drop off. This is when the whole team of Jorge's will be nervous. And one other thing just to tell you is we saw Brad Binder lose the rear a little bit out of the bottom of Nicky Hart's on the right-hand side. That's because these riders are clever. They have to nurse the left-hand side, but the right-hand side, even though it's softer rubber, gets used so little that they abuse it. They get everything out of it they can. It'll do the distance.
Thanks to that, Simon. This could be very much game on. Is there late drama building here in Phillip Island? Jorge Martin lost 4 tenths of a second through Digia on that lap 21. The gap down to 2.4 seconds. And Johan Zarco's found a way through on Pecco Bagnaia. With the checker flag gets right now, the World Championship lead. Bagnaia losing 14 points in this Australian Grand Prix. But there is Martin. What's the gap then through the first sector? He actually found 2 tenths on Antonio in the first split, but there is going to be a little bit of uneasiness, you feel, in Prima Ducati if that gap does continue to creep down, because they will know full well that he's got that soft rear tyre, and did he go too hard, too quickly? Is he going to have down to some a big drop off in bit later on?
This was the move from Johan Zarco then at the inside of Bagnaia. Got a good run on the final corner and just dragged it past him. Was ahead of him and alongside as they got into Durham corner. Martin can afford to lose around 4 tenths a lap at this stage because we've only got 6 to go, so 4 tenths a lap would just be around the 2.5 second mark, which will bring Digia into play at the end. So far on this lap, Martin has been able to stabilise the situation, respond to the growing threat from San Antonio, but he's in a bit of a catch-22 here, isn't he? Because if Martin responds too much, again, he's taking right out of that software time, he might lose the defensive later on.
Zarco doing a massive favour here, isn't he, to his teammate Jorge Martin. He fancies second place in the French field. Made that move down the start-finish straight. That was the minimum risk, wasn't it, overtaking Bagnaia. He didn't want to cause any controversy in this World Championship battle, so he just picked off with the extra drive bit coming out of turn 12. He's alongside Bagnaia, made the move into the corner. So 4 points would be the gap going in. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get the 2 spin tomorrow. As Binder thinks about a move on the inside. That's going to be really, really close. He does make it fit though, doesn't he? What a battle this is then for the final 2 spots on the podium. It's back in the hands of Binder on the factory KTM. Gian Antonio there now back in 3rd place. Do not discount Zarco. Do not discount Bagnaia as well. Still at the front. The lead down to 2.3 seconds. 4.5 to go. Martin has it still.
Even with the overtake onto Gian Antonio, Binder has pulled time back. He started this lap 2.6 seconds behind Jorge Martin. It's 2.3 as we come into the final sector of this lap. Martin is doing...
Nursing that soft rear tyre towards the finish line here. On board with Bezzecchi through turn 8. You can see there Martin. He drops down now through turn 10 for the first time in an age. We've got the top 5 in the same picture here. Martin powers through turn 11. It's going to be lap 24 of 27 completed very, very soon. The gap has, well, briefly it came down through sector 2 down to 1.9 seconds. There is the clear message from Prima Pramagnicati. 3 laps to go. Over the line, Martin comes a 1:31.3. The gap down there now to 1.7 seconds. Binder a 1:39.40. Binder, Gian Antonio and Zarco and Bagnaia, who found a 1:30.6. 7/10 quicker on lap 24. What's Bagnaia?
Zarco through on Digit, then up into 3rd place. So Gian Antonio now loses that grip on that podium position. Is John Zarco now starting to alter the tax?
Lewis Martin's going to be in massive trouble here already. He's lost another 10th in the first sector. Here we go then. Is Jorge Martin going to have some late heartache coming in? He may well not even finish on the podium. It looked like he was going to cruise and cant towards this Australian Grand Prix victory. But he rolled the dice and went for the soft rear tyre. Is that going to backfire late on here? 2.5 laps to go in Phillip Island. Martin's lead through the second split. He's down now to 1.5 seconds. They can smell danger. Look at crew chief going anybody earlier. Martin's crew chief, he just looked at the screens. He could barely look because he knows what's coming. He knows his man is suffering big time now. Look at it spinning up there through Lukey Heights. Martin's got no regret whatsoever. At the moment, he's just nursing that GP23 to the finish line. Will he be the finish line first? That's the big question. Look at his tyres.
It's not just the rear tyre, it's the front as well. And as you say, it's not just for one rider that's catching Martin, it's 4 of them that are catching him. It's Binder, it's Zarco, it's the Gian Antonio, and it's Pecco Bagnaia. It's going to need 2 big laps here from Jorge Martin. Prima Pramagnicati might win this Grand Prix. It might not be Martin. Here comes Zarco at the inside of Binder. He stays in 3rd for now, but Zarco is really coming into it. It's 1.2 seconds with 2 to go.
Well, they need Zarco now to get in front of Binder. That's just some kind of wingman here. Surely Zarco will not go for the win if he gets in the 2nd place. Or will he? I mean, he's never had a MotoGP victory. He may well never get a better chance than this one. At the moment, though, he's inside that P3. His first podium back in since the Saxering. It's been a long, long way. Now he's going first on the inside of Binder. He picks up the South African, taking advantage of that. It's Fabio Di Antonio. They're side by side, aren't they? 2 abreast. Zarco has it now coming through Siberia. Binder came out the worst of that one. Zarco's abreast in the turn 5. Now, will Zarco just sit there and try and be the rolling roadblock, act as the perfect wingman? Bagnaia knows that. Bagnaia, this is a brilliant late rescue job by him as well. 6 points to Galbi in the Live Championship. 1 lap and 4 corners remaining of what's been yet another unforgettable, thrilling Australian Grand Prix. We're about to come through, well, we're about to start the final lap, and Jorge Martin now is really surviving. He is really overstressed that soft rear tyre. The gap now down to under a second. 1 lap and 1 corner remaining. Jorge Martin, 4.4 minutes away from the victory, although as the grip completely shot to pieces. Here we go then, Martin leads by just 4 tenths on the second.
I don't think John Zarco's going to have a choice here, man. I think he's going to have to either pass Jorge Martin or be passed by Bagnaia, because Jorge Martin did a 31-second on the last lap. How is he going to be able to defend this on the final lap? He's got no rear grip left.
He's a passenger, he's a sitting duck. Next to the seaside here in Phillip Island, Joan Zarco has waited 120 Grand Prix. He surely has to go for it. He has to make the move. Does he go for it here into the middle corner? He goes on the inside. Martin Money, but Mr. Payne. Will be taking the victory. What an incredible last lap here. High drama in Phillip Island. You can throw a blanket, a tissue over the top five. Out of Siberia we go. Jorge Martin was 8 corners away.
He's going to be brilliant victory.
He's not even going to finish on the podium. That soft rear tyre has destroyed itself. Joan Zarco then now comes to the front of this Australian Grand Prix.
He does need to win the Grand Prix. He needs to win it for his team now because Bagnaia is in second place. 119 Grand Prix are waiting. Could be 2 corners away from ending for Joan Zarco.
Get ready for the Frenchman's backflip. It'll be back for the first time since Valencia in 2016. What a race. What a circuit. Binder on the inside. Here comes Jorge Martin back in the 4th place. But Joan Zarco, finally, we can say the Flying Frenchman is a MotoGP winner here in an unbelievable and incredible Australian Grand Prix. What a race. That was a showstopper. That was a heart-stopper, wasn't it? Zarco wins by 0.2 of a second. Pecco Bagnaia is second, increases World Championship lead. Fabio Di Giannantonio does take his first ever MotoGP podium. Binder takes 4th. Jorge Martin, who led for 26 laps in 4 corners, and he had destroyed that soft rear tyre. He came with a checkered flag, a second adrift, a first MotoGP victory for Joan Zarco, and he did it in an astonishing race. Phillip Island, we love you. Phillip Island, you delivered once again a first MotoGP victory for the 30-year-old Frenchman, his 120th MotoGP start. Surely we're going to get the backflip. There's a huge congratulations from this compatriot, fellow Frenchman, Fabio Quartararo. I think everyone
The sprint tomorrow after that. What a thriller, what a finish. Joan Zarco, your winner at last at the 120th time of asking. Pecco Bagnaia takes a crucial second. Di Giannantonio on the podium for the first time in 3rd. And Brad Binder relegates Jorge Martin down to 5th after leading for 26 of the 27 laps. Marco Bezzecchi almost unnoticed to roll back into 6th in the end to keep his race alive. Jack Miller 7th and Race Fargo out of Marco there. Bastianini took 10th. From Maverick Vinales and Luca Marini, Miguel Oliveira 13th, and Fabio Quartararo, Marc Marquez, much like Jorge Martin, paid the price for that soft rear tyre as he folded all the way back to 15th place in the end. Bagnaia extends his World Championship lead then, which seemed like a sentence that we wouldn't dream of saying for much of that Grand Prix, but it's up to 27 points now over Jorge Martin. Marco Bezzecchi, 73 points back now. He certainly needs a big sprint tomorrow to keep himself in the game. Brad Binder maintains 4th as Joan Zarco climbs 2 places up into 5th. Fabio Di Giannantonio also up 2 spots in the World Championship, up into 12th place as he follows up his 4th in Indonesia with 3rd in Australia. And here Bastianini up a place into 19th ahead of Raul Fernandez today. Bastianini came across the line in 10th place, and that is back-to-back top 10s for the Beast. Well, Ducati were crowned Constructors Champions before they even arrived here in Australia. They secured that in the sprint in Indonesia. KTM are 22 points clear now over Aprilia in the battle for second. Yamaha with that 14th for Fabio Quartararo. Small points, but they do extend their lead over Honda by a further point. Primavera Racing with another victory today, take another step towards the Teams Championship. 85 points clear now of Mooney VR46. Ducati Lenovo team sit third ahead of Red Bull Factory KTM and Aprilia Racing. In the Independent Riders' Championship, Jorge Martin does extend his lead today, although that will be small consolation for the way his race finished. 46 points the advantage over Marco Bezzecchi as Johan Zarco moves into clear air now in third after his win here today. And in the Independent Teams Championship, Pramac Racing lead by 85 points from Mooney VR46. Grassini Racing over the 200-point mark today, with third for Gian Antonio and ninth for Alex Marquez here today. Crypto Data, R&F, scoring 3 points courtesy of Miguel